welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for being here. Today I am ripping open what is my most anticipated game of the year. Now, you might think you've heard that statement before, or think that, yeah, Jesse, every big box game with a giant epic campaign that sets up on the table in about 15 minutes and can go from scenario to scenario in about 5, every game that hits those metrics is going to be your most anticipated game of the year, but here's how anticipated this title is. Rove by Addicts Games is the only game I backed last year. I've also already played 30 hours of the campaign. How could I do that while, the game is still in shrink? I played at a friend's house and had a blast. Not only that, but I have scheduled coming up this Tuesday a 12 to 16 hour gaming session to move our way through Rove Anchor Point, the brand new standalone small box introduction to the giant world of Rove. Available over on Gamefound. This is not a sponsored video. We are not doing any sponsored videos for the team over at Addicts. I am friends with and do adore the people behind this game. Also the creators of Crimson Scales, which is the most ambitious fan-made expansion ever for a title that some of you might recognize, which is called Gloomhaven. Tuesday, we're going to be diving headfirst into Anchor Point. Dennis is driving up from Detroit, to have fun with that. And then a week from now, West is coming down, Dennis is coming down, Shira is going to be free, and we're going to be playing through what we hope to be the full campaign of Rove. So when I say anticipated, when I say that I'm excited about this title, I don't just mean in that airy, theoretical, yeah, it'd be nice to play. I mean, I'm taking legitimate steps to learn, play, film, cover, shout about, I'm basically doing everything I can to dive headfirst into this and experience all of the glorious wonder available in Rove. And I'm not alone in that. Now, it is one of those games that arrived very recently, so backers and players have started opening it up, spreading their reviews, and getting a taste for what exactly awaits them inside this big box. But the reviews over on BGG so far are excellent. The whispers around the wider board game scene are so far very, very positive. And I personally cannot wait to see as more people, content creators, fans, whoever, and whenever and however, as more people get their copy, get it to the table, and have a chance to see just how excellent this production truly is. I'm going to try to go quick through this. Really, this is an excuse to make a video and shout about this game and go ahead and get it opened up so that I'm in a position and ready to start playing it soon. I didn't know this box would be so heavy and the lid's so secure. The artwork you might recognize from a little-known artist, the original artist from the original Gloomhaven. But the world here in Rove is going to be a little bit more ethereal, a little bit more untamed and wild. The corners of civilization have just barely started to scratch into what is the outer lands. And this alien planet and the creatures that you are and the creatures that you encounter are wholly and entirely uninhibited and unexplored. The artwork's glorious. You have classes that'll actually level up through the course of the game, not just with small progressions, but major character-defining changes. So you'll move from like a standard bowman, the shadow piercer. You could play the true scale, which is like a double-sided, both attack and defense, sort of like a tank. You have the Flash, which is going to be wielding some more spiritual and magic effects. You have the Dune Dancer, which is a little bit more of a rogue. And we have the Sophist, which is going to be a little bit more, I want to say the Sophist is kind of controlling things. I don't know, I didn't play with the Sophist. Maybe it's a magician, I'm not sure. But as the game progresses, you're actually going to transform like Pokemon evolution style in a way, into these various different skill sets and classes. There's 2 full transformations total for each one of the classes that you are. Okay, I'm going to move this to the side, and let's go ahead and start moving in to the main box. Let's see what we come across. We have the lovely rule book here. We have the Codex book. We have the campaign book, which is going to tell us all of the different chapters that we're going down. And then here's a few of the things that start to make Rove uniquely special. Now, a lot of these big box games focus on the storytelling or the card play or any of the various elements that go into the experience of the game, and Rove does that as well. But they also ask themselves the question, out of all these giant big box campaign games, the Oathsworn and Frosthaven and Cthulhu Death May Die, what's the thing that can be at times the most frustrating, the most debilitating? And one of the answers is just setup, the ability to get the game actually to the table. If you're playing Rove, it looks something like this. You check your scenario book, you have your character cards laid out in front of you, you open it up to the correct page. All of the markings where you place your enemies, your characters, the standees, the terrain, all of the details are already printed on there, so you just follow the pattern. You open up to the correct page over here in the enemy book, and suddenly you not only know where you're fighting, where everything goes, who you're fighting, what all of their variable abilities are, because as you can see, from page to page and character to character, the enemies that you fight are going to be able to adapt to the scenario you're playing. So some of them might be weaker or stronger, have various different effects applied, depending on the part of the campaign that you're currently in. They're not a standardized set of cards that you rotate through. Setup is more or less like that. Like I said, I think it takes about 15 minutes to set up a game of Rove from scratch, from zero. And when you're going from scenario to scenario, meaning you've just finished one big encounter and you're moving on to the next, I'd say it takes about 5 minutes. And that's with people not really putting a lot of pressure on. If you've got to go quick, I bet a group of 2 or 3 could actually get this game flipped in 2 minutes flat and get to playing again immediately. So let's keep diving in. Let's see what else we have. We're going to have all of our punch board, which is something that I'm going to need to do before we actually start playing. Not a ton of punch board. There is going to be more hidden throughout the box, I believe. You have your enemy tokens, which are going to be punch board as well. You do have Rover miniatures for your characters, but for sake of space and capacity. Now, one thing that I did learn from the publisher themselves is they actually reprinted some of the enemy standard punch board multiple times so that you, when you're playing, don't have to go backwards and hunt through to find them. Again, Addicts Games is focused on how they can let you play their games. So instead of just saying, well, we printed it once, go pull that out of the box because it's scattered somewhere in multiple bags or corners, it's fallen off the seams, they're just like, hey, we're going to print it 2 or 3 more times. We're going to give you multiple copies. We're going to give you some extra in there because it's going to help you set up the next scenario and the next scenario after that, and on and on and on. So in here, we have our various character boxes. You can kind of see the same style as Gloomhaven in general. 0, 1 to 6. I don't know what these are. Intercessions. Looks like these might be like mid-campaign excursions. We have some organizing trays, and we have a big old pile of dice. You use dice to generate the resource that you need to take the vast majority of your actions in this game. We have some done dice, which are dice that you've already sapped the resource out of them. We have some standee tokens. We have a few piles of cards here. We have our items and our gear. We have our weapons that we'll be unlocking as we play, along with armor and various different special one-use resources that you'll usually buy and re-up as you go from campaign to campaign. There's a lot of cool resources, a lot of cool armor, a lot of cool abilities and skills that you can equip. One of the core aspects of this game is after every single scenario, you'll actually visit the market, step in, and see if you want to grab any of these other one-time use things so that you can re-up and actually focus on various different skills that you have, focus on boosting different things depending on the scenario you're going into next. So, I mean, that's the core box. It doesn't look like a ton, but there's a ton of gameplay here, and it's very easy to get active, going, and onto the table. I kind of want to pop open one of these boxes. I'm just going to take one haphazardly here. It's a risky venture, but I'm going to do it because I want to show you, the audience specifically, how the game approaches the characters that you are playing. So the way that Rove treats the characters is fairly unique. You're going to have some echoes that feel similar to games like Gloomhaven. I mean, certainly the designers and creators have been highly inspired from what was, one of their favorite games of all time. But they didn't want to just make a reskin of something like Gloomhaven. So what they've done is they have a flip system for the cards that you're utilizing. What did I come across here? You look like a late game. Yeah, you're a late game cool guy. I'm here. I'll show you the artwork. Like pretty freaking epic, but we're not gonna spoil anything. So, but I'll show you with this card here because you don't know exactly what we're doing. So you'll have a row of cards here that are going to be your personal actions, and they have sides that give you bonuses, give you resources, let you take some sort of supplementary actions. And then you have sides that are more powerful attacks. And as you play the game, you'll have your standardized actions that you can take, and then you'll have your card actions that you can take. And every time you take a card action, you flip that card over, creating like a little rhythm or a little tableau that you're trying to sequence in the right order. So I might flip one, getting a little bit of a extra ability, move with a basic action, fire off an arrow to start pinging a guy that I'm hunting. The next turn, I might flip another one, letting me heal another player, giving me an extra die. But then I'm going to have the resources needed to spend that cost up there at the top and do a more powerful attack, firing 12 archer shots into the eyeballs of my enemies or slowly drowning them in blood-curdling screams because I have filled their ears with pudding. I don't know where the game goes. I haven't seen the third stage of character progression. I only assume that a pudding-based magic attack is included because, I mean, I sent that I sent an email in. I said, guys, listen, this is going to be brilliant. No one's going to be expecting it. I don't think any board game has done it before. You got to go with pudding. You got to go with pudding immediately. We have our miniatures. I will pop these open to show you. These are very nice. They do show the full progression of characters. So you have your 5 standard rovers here on the back, but in here, you're also going to have all of the characters that you could become. And like I said, the pathways are actually branching. So as you play, you will have a few different directions of evolution or character creation that you could pursue. And the degree of replayability in Rove is immense. Not only are you going to be choosing different pathways in the campaign, but also the various characters play exceptionally differently, and the parties that you can put together with them play very differently. And they all play fairly quick. They all play accessibly enough that you should be able to get through a campaign and re-experience a campaign with almost no or very little repeat experiences. Things that you've just played once and you're playing it again exactly how you experienced it the first time. You can really alternate and change up quite a bit. We have the Zgul expansion. I'm not going to rip this open right now, but I will tell you what is included in it. This is what unlocks the third stage of character unlock. So we have 10 class tuck boxes. This also has some extra campaign that I believe happens after the course of base game Rove. And we have more items, more cards, and possibly even no more characters to play in here, but the last stage of evolution is in here. So 10 total classes because there's 5 starting characters. So there's 5 starting characters, then they branch off into 2 more characters each, and then there's a last stage that branches off into 2 more characters beyond that. Now, the other thing that I want to get into here, which I haven't actually looked at all. This is really fairly selfish video. I mean, you all who don't know anything about Rove, great, fantastic. I've opened up the box, I've showed you some stuff, I've talked about some cool stuff. This is the part of the video where we transition to what I really want to do myself, other than just getting the box open so I can play it in a few days. I don't know anything about this. I know it exists, right? I have a copy of it here. Like, it's not that I don't know anything about it. I believe it's a prequel. I do know that it's fully standalone. But other than that, I don't know anything. So let's dive in. Let's take a look at Anchor Point and start seeing what exactly they're going to be presenting to us. So I'm going to take the wrap off of this. By the way, this is a prototype copy, like a pre-production copy. This is a very good pre-production copy. I hope that hasn't ruined my mic there. Players 1 to 4 duration, 45 to 90 minutes per scenario. Across the city. We do read flavor text here. It's part of the thematic overtures that extend here. I'll give you a good angle for the flavor text reading though. Let's get you involved in this. Across the city, extra candles are lit and banners flown. Secret stores of drink and sweets are opened and shared. For the duration of the night, the people of Tor join in celebrating the first new Rovers the city has seen in several years. Rovers, by the way, just for those of you that are like, I don't even know what rove is. If you think of the term like an explorer, that's a rover. They're venturing out into the untamed wilderness. They're protecting and giving security to the various different settlements that exist in this land so that the common folk, the people who are struggling to survive, those people can actually live their lives. They can keep on with keeping on. The rovers are the guardians at the wall, the watchers of the night. That's the role that you get to play in the game. The first new rovers the city has seen in several years. Zusag bands pair with Kabraska troops and put on plays that meld reality and imagination. While humans and T4 artisans paint new murals along the rafters and doorways depicting exploits and victories they hope your future holds, outlined in crux yellow to hold the images in their hearts. The stone tunnels of the abandoned Fire Aram mines seem to have grown restless without anyone to mind them. Mana wanders down their twisting geometry, counting too many angles and too few turns. The walls occasionally taking on the appearance of carapace instead of rock. It takes them a long minute to identify the first bone they come across as a T4 arm bent in the shape of a sickle. Lying next to a human skull 3 sizes too large, when they reach the anchor point, it does not glow, nor does it sing as they have heard the other anchor points described. Neglected for far too long, the stream waves roil around the massive crystal, frothy rapids of ether which mana must pass through carefully lest they be swept away in the tide. A little bit artistic, a little bit ethereal, but in essence it's saying like weird stuff's happening. You're here as the first rovers in some time, and it's time for the adventure to begin. Okay, now let's take a look at what they're actually offering. Standalone game, followed over in Gamefound. You can get the big stuff, you can get the giant box if you want. Also, if you just want to check it out, if you want to dive into it from the get-go, here you go. All right, so we got some dice. Those are going to be generating our resource. We got some standees, just like that base game. We've got a pack of armor and a pack of, looks like some character abilities and some other modified armor, weapons, etc., etc. Same standardized boards as in the base game, dual layered. You're going to be putting your basic actions here, your character mat here, your dice, both active and spent, are going to be going there. The resource, by the way, is kind of cool because when it's active, you can spend it on your cards. When it's spent, meaning you've kind of imbued it into your being, it has a secondary activation through the items and the resources that you're using. If they're able to like harbinge the resource that you've spent, you get a secondary effectiveness. What are going to be in here? So we've got some tuck boxes, some punch cards. Okay, so these are going to be the enemies that we're going to be facing. We've got, in this one, I don't know what satchels I'm allowed to open and not allowed to open, so I'm just going to kind of go for it, but not show off too much. Some more punch boards, so 2 different stages of enemies, it seems. Ooh, okay, so these are going to be our 4 characters. I'm excited about that. I am looking forward to diving in, because you guys have to help determine who I'm actually going to play. Because in 2 days, we're going to be going headfirst into this campaign, and I need you all to help determine who you're the most excited about. We have our resource markers here, damage markers, all the other fancy stuff someone might want. We have our campaign book. Ooh, lots of flavor text. We do have a rule about reading all flavor text at all times, so we'll see if we dive into that. We have our adversary book. Oh, she's so cute. I don't know why we're fighting. Is she a bad guy? Are we gonna fight the cute little bunny rabbit? I think she's gonna murder us. She's gonna absolutely annihilate us. You know that's true. We have our map book, so same approach that the base game has taken. Okay, and we have our Rove rulebook, which actually looks condensed down a little bit from the big guy. So I wonder if this is a little bit more simple, or if this is just based off the design and playtesting and time they've spent in the base game. This is just a version that is kind of ready to run, ready to operate as efficiently as it can be. Okay, I might do a single dedicated video helping you all or asking you all to help determine who we're going to play. But I do want to flip through these quickly with you. So this is Ashroot. Interesting. Let's see. Who do I start with, though? Rove Anchor Point in development. Okay, so that seems like that might be the third character, possibly. But Ashroot looks like this might be our starting point. The Sivian Ashroot is a versatile warrior that relies on their ability to guide the flow of ether through roots and branches, allowing them to manipulate the battlefield. Ooh, so sort of like a terrain scout. We're going to be able to rip things up. I do like taking giant spruce trees and just utilizing them as weapons. That does actually sound fun to me. The next one we have here, so there's the in development one. So let's take a look here. The Thermal Flux. Thermal Flux is a frontline warrior that swaps between offense and defense. You have two forms, Blaze and Freeze. Okay, so a little bit of a hot and cold version, represented by a two-sided token. Your current form determines which abilities you will use. When your form token flips, flip your ability tiles to match your form. You start with each encounter in the form of your choice. Okay, so very timing is going to be important here. Deciding if you want to be in a aggressive stance, which I assume is the fire stance, or a defensive stance, which I assume is the ice stance. I would kind of love it if they flipped the script on that. If ice was actually way more violent and fire was where you were, I don't know, creating barriers or using smoke bombs or something. If they haven't done that, then maybe they should take my weird ideas and apply them. We have the Threaded Fate. The Kebraska Threaded Fate is a highly perceptive ranger that reacts to the movement of their foes. You have access to 3 web tokens that are consumed to enhance your reaction cards. Webs can be placed on any non-barrier spaces. To utilize these tokens, you will want to keep the positioning of your enemies in mind. Okay, so we're an archer, we're a ranger, but we're a ranger that's going to be actually impacting, kind of setting down traps and stuff, it sounds like, or webs that have effects with our archery skills. So a little bit of like a rogue ranger style mechanic here, where you can fire arrows at people, but that might not be the most interesting thing you can do. You might actually be able to create some havoc and some damage across the battlefield with your other abilities. We have the Pugilist. Zuzka Pugilist is a hit and run specialist who specializes in taking down marked targets. When the Pugilist enters the space of an ally or adversary, you may mark that unit. To do so, place one of your mark tokens on that unit's class board or damage tracking slot. Many of your actions replace the target icon with the mark icon. Actions with the mark icon can only target units with the marked token. Positive and negative action target restrictions still apply. Okay. That sounds fun too. All of these sound interesting. All of these seem compelling. I'm leaning towards the ability to use the roots of trees to attack people in the face. But I don't know if that's where I should start. And I'm trying to think of what would make a good party based off of the 4 starting characters that we have. I think I'm going to have to do some research, probably do a standalone video to have you all help me decide who exactly I'm playing when we're bringing coverage to the main channel. I kind of want to do it for both. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. If a video comes up, leave a comment on that video. If not, leave a comment on this video. What out of those 4 classes are you the most interested in seeing me play? We're going to be diving in this Tuesday, and the boy and I are hitting the road. We've got a photography contract up in New Jersey. So we're going to probably have a video out tomorrow with us doing a little bit of road tripping together. So that's that. That's the video. I think we've done it. I think we've opened up the board game. We've at least done enough that I now don't feel bad punching all the tokens, getting it all organized, and getting ready to play. I never know if I want to do an unboxing video, so sometimes I like just don't open up the games until it's time to play, partially because who knows, maybe I want to open it up on camera. I mean, I've got a sealed giant box of Everdell over here and a sealed box of Suburbia somewhere around there, like the giant collector's edition boxes, and in the next year or 2 or 3, I'm going to be able to put out a video saying, unboxing, rare unboxing video. You haven't seen this game for 8 years. I backed this 7 years ago. I don't know. It's just part of my personality, I guess. Like, I feel like even if I wasn't a content creator and I had the convenient excuse of wanting to save games until I'm ready to, until I'm ready to either film a video or play them, I still think I would have a similar approach. I just like stuff all packaged, kept together, cleaned, organized, ready to not relying on my ability to keep things sorted and together before I actually sit down to experience it. I also would rather just leave a game sitting on the table forever until I've finished playing it than box it up, put it away, box it up, put it away, box it up, put it away. But that's just me. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Whatever the case, whatever you do, remember to do the important thing. Swing over to Gamefound. Link will be in the top of the video description. Hit the follow button and back Rove, Anchor Point, or the giant box, or all of it when you have the time. Okay? It's a video. We'll see you later. Bye.